6 short conversations and 6 different questions, right? The first question reads like this. Help me reading the question, Jessica Moore.
Yes. You will hear a man called. You will hear a man called Frank.
But man is plural.
A man.
A man, exactly.
You will hear a man called Frank. Talking on the radio about looking for chips.
Okay, before we continue, talking where?
Talking on the radio.
Much better. Okay.
Talking on the radio about looking for chips that sank at sea long ago.
Perfect.
A. The first old ship which Frank found was. Option was A. Covered by rocks. B. Older than he first thought. And C. Easy to find.
Perfect. So let's hear about this man talking about looking for ships. This audio is a little tricky. First of all, it's longer. It's much longer than the previous exercise. And second of all, we have some vocabulary to learn. This vocabulary is over here. Let's begin with the first one. Help me with the first vocabulary, Angie.
Yes, teacher.
Hello.
Hello.
So, give me the first vocabulary. Let's go.
The first vocabulary? Noun?
That's not the first vocabulary.
What is
the first word?
Oh.
Right?
Wool rider?
Pronunciation. Here I need a pronunciation. Where is the dictionary? Here.
Rather. Rather.
This is super open.
Rather.
Exactly.
Rather.
Rather.
Would rather.
Would rather. And then the connector that you have for the cookie.
Than.
Than. Exactly. Complete expression.
Would rather than.
Excellent. Definition.
B1, B2 expression usually reduced.
Whoa, pronunciation reduced in past?
Reduced.
Perfect.
To the rather.
To apostrophe the.
To apostrophe the. Rather.
Exactly.
Would prefer to. She'd rather die than give a speech. Do you want to come with us? No, I'd rather not. Rather not.
Much better. Rather not. So, would rather than is similar to?
Would rather than is similar to. Like disponible? Was it?
In English, you have the definition in front of you. Usually reduced to.
Would prefer to?
Exactly. Would rather is similar to would prefer
Would
to.
prefer to.
That's correct. So if you say, she'd rather die than give a speech, it's similar to say, she'd prefer to die than give a speech.
Okay.
You see? That's a correct substitution. It's a similar expression, and a British person will say rather, would rather, or I'd rather. Okay? The next word that is very important for the listening is the word loan. Karen, what's a loan?
I think that it's when you need money.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, you
A
can
loan.
read the definition.
Okay. Loan. Money that an organization such as a bank lends and somebody borrows.
That's right. Right? So when a bank lends you money, you are getting a loan. You see? Something similar to a credit, but this is more like asking for it. No cards are necessary in this case.
Okay, teacher.
There you go. These are the necessary words that you will need for this audio. Let's listen to it and let's answer the first. Whoops. Where are we? This one. Let's listen to the first audio and let's answer A, B, or C. Okay? Attention.
Now turn to part 2, questions 8 to 13. You will hear a man called Frank talking on the radio about looking for ships that sank at sea long ago. For each question, put a tick in the correct box. You now have 45 seconds to look at the questions for part 2. Now we are ready to start. Listen carefully. You will hear the recording twice.
Frank, tell us about some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so it wasn't difficult to find. Most are covered in sand and rocks, but this one wasn't. I'm actually a teacher, not a full-time diver. I dive in my free time, but I often get to them before the professional divers because I have good, up-to-date equipment. Another thing that helps is talking to fishermen who tell me about their local area. I've even written a book about some of their experiences. At the moment, I'm looking for the gold from a ship called the Seabird. It was an enormous, well-built ship, and it was coming from Australia on a winter night in 1859. Everything was going fine until the ship reached the English coast, when it crashed into some rocks in a very strong wind and sank to the bottom of the sea. It was carrying gold from Australia, and most of it is still at the bottom of the sea. My wedding ring is actually made from gold, which I found on an 18th century sailing ship. A friend of mine, another diver, has already found £88,000 worth of gold from different ships. He's now decided to give up his job and become a full-time diver. My house is full of things like coins, bottles, and old guns. My wife is always complaining about the number of objects around the house. She says I should open an antiques shop. But I love all these old things. Anyway, in the end, I gave some things from my collection to museums because I didn't want to sell them. But my wife still wasn't very pleased, I'm afraid. As diving is a dangerous hobby, it's not a good idea to try to teach yourself. I'd advise anyone interested to do what I did. There are some excellent diving clubs, like the one I joined, which run courses for beginners. It's best to do one of these before you go on a diving holiday.
Now listen again.
Now
It was coming from the bottom of the sea.
questions for part 2. Now we are ready to start. Listen carefully. You will hear the recording twice.
Frank, tell us about some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so it wasn't difficult to find. Most are covered in sand and rocks, but this one wasn't. I'm actually a teacher, not a full-time diver.
The answer was there. We don't need the rest. Question. Brox, do you have the answer? Oh no, actually, everybody please send me the answer to question 8. 1, 2, 3, action. Very good. Yes, he has it. And he has it. Okay. Very good. All right. Interesting, girls. Girls, I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to get the patatus. Nobody got it. So we are going to find why. I think it's because the verb to be. Okay, let's see. Transcription. Sorry. We are going to do it together. Tell me. Rox, give me the first line in this audio. Let's begin. Over
Now turn to part 2, questions
here. Just a second. Let me find the section where the answer is.
Some of the ships
Old ship. Quite like finding your first old ship.
discovered.
Okay, here's the first line, okay, Rox?
Okay.
Number 1.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
This nothing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know more. Sheep.
Ship. Interesting, okay. Listen again.
There's nothing quite like finding your...
Some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
On sheep. What, flying?
Okay, we are having pronunciation is affecting your comprehension. Because you said this, and the word is similar, but it's not this. On ship sounds also similar, but it's not on. So the pronunciation is affecting your comprehension. Let's see, let's help. Everybody will have 2 chances. If you don't have the sentence, I'm gonna help you. So let's go with Jessica Asmore. Your turn.
Nothing quite like finding your first old ship. It was...
Frank, tell us about some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
Action, yes. What do you have?
There is nothing.
Nice.
There is nothing to cover in front on the ship. There
Eliminate
is
in front.
nothing covering.
Also eliminate covering
There is nothing
and on. See, eliminate on.
front.
Cont. What is cont?
Front.
What is that?
Front. In front.
In front.
In front.
That I don't know if it matches with the audio. We are going to need to listen again. But good job on the there's.
There's
Okay.
nothing. Mhm.
Let's go.
Ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
Golden binding.
Okay.
There is nothing. Good. Couldn't find
Mm-hmm.
it.
Couldn't what?
Couldn't find it.
Yeah. Don't abandon the words that you say. If you say first finding and then you say find, I don't know if you understand or not.
There is nothing. I listen couldn't
Uh-huh.
find.
Oh, come on. You were correct on the finding. Uh-huh. Don't change your mind. Don't change your mind. If your ears are saying finding, get in finding. And then if you hear finding, then you can forget could,
Yes.
right? I think you did the opposite. You were like, no, 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 no. If I say could, then the next word is simple form. That was your logic, no?
Uh-huh.
You abandoned the incorrect word. The correct one was finding, and you need to eliminate could.
There is nothing.
Now
Wasn't.
you are going to guess. So don't guess. Exactly. Don't guess. Anyway, good job. 2 chances. Perfect.
All right.
Angie, do you have another word or do you want to listen again?
I don't have anything.
Let's listen again.
Your first old ship.
Tell us about some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
Action.
First on
Very good.
ship.
Eliminate own.
On
Eliminate own. But it sounds similar, no?
uh-huh.
Angie,
Like
please repeat
nuestro.
the question. I know what is own. Thank you very much. I understand English. But I need you to understand the question. What is the question?
You will. Oh,
No,
want.
no. Question 8.
8
Uh-huh.
covered by rocks.
The question.
The question. Oh, the first old ship which Frank found was
Was. And then what do you have here?
first was
Again. What do you have on the question?
okay. The first old ship which
That's it.
Frank
And you
found
have here
was
first, and then you have
first.
ship.
The first old.
Of course. Ta-da! Girls, this is your reference of the answer. He mentioned the first old ship in the audio. And this first old ship is in the question. So this is your clue. Do you know what is clue?
Mm-mm.
Anybody else? Karen, Jessie, Rox, do you know what is clue?
No,
Oh, okay. Pista. This is your first clue to detect the answer. He mentioned the first old ship, and the exam says the first old ship. So when you, Jessie, you mentioned on, and then Rox, you also mentioned on, and then you, Angie, you mentioned own.
On. Mhm.
Those words sound similar to old. So what you need to do is to match the information in the paper with the information in the audio. Do you make sense?
Yep.
Right? Do that. First lesson. Match the indications in the paper with the audios. That's going to help you a lot. So here you have. Also, you have the word finding. And in the question, you have found. Right? So here, guys, here's another clue. Finding first old ship. That's the information you need. Even though, let's understand the complete section. Angie, let's listen again and let's complete the sentence.
Okay.
Tell us about some of the ships you've discovered.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
That's
Actually,
not me. Mm, That's nothing. Crown? Was?
eliminate crown, eliminate was. The phonetic was more similar to crown, but the vowels are incorrect. The consonants are correct. K, 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 k. Angie, do you remember an emphasis word that starts with Q?
Uh,
Look at your
emphasis?
adverbs. Can you repeat?
Emphasis? Emphasize?
Emphasis, emphasis word that starts with Q.
Q.
That's a lot of help, eh? I'm helping you a lot.
Notion?
Of course.
What part?
Emphasizers, adverbs.
Adverse.
Check it out. Look for it, and then we are going to go back with you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Karen, do you have more information or do you need to listen again?
I don't know. I listened quite light or first all ship, but I don't know.
Okay, quite is correct. Quite what?
Line? No.
Line incorrect.
Or first all ship? No.
Our first own ship, very similar. Very,
Okay.
very similar.
Let me.
Actually, you're very close because it's a possessive, but it's not or. Listen again.
There's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
Action.
Light. No. Teacher,
Quite what?
I listen one L, quite L, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah. What word did you say before?
light. No.
Kinda. What word do you need? Grammatically, what do you need?
Light. Nothing quite like oh, like some adverb, for example, one description quite.
Some adverb, but adverbs are not necessary. Adverbs are emphasizers, are extra information, are
Mhm.
give more information. So they are not necessary. The necessary words are the first line of necessity is person verb complement. When you have person verb complement, then you need connectors. You know? So here you have there's nothing, this is your subject.
Yes.
Finding is your verb.
Yes.
Now you need to connect. And also,
Yes.
here you need a connector, and here you need a possessive, like you said. You said or, but it's not or.
Refers? No. Not sure. There? No. I guess it. No, sorry.
Whose? Yeah, whose?
Yes.
We don't understand that. Final
Yes.
repetition.
Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
What do you have?
Your first old ship? No,
Correct.
but I don't know
It's
what it's guideline. I don't know what it's the second word. Quite
okay.
line.
The first word.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
The first word, because the second was your.
Yes.
Okay, Rox, did you catch it after all these repetitions?
Quietly.
Quietly incorrect. Quite is already as adverb. Actually, quietly doesn't exist. Exists quietly, but not quietly.
Quietly. Okay.
And it's a different thing.
Okay. So can you play the audio,
Well,
please?
it's time for me to give you the answer. It's time to give you the answer.
Okay.
Forget about it. The word is like. You, Karen, you were so close, but you were saying line, and that didn't match. Of
But
course, you knew.
yes, but I heard line, not like a N. I don't know why.
Like finding, like, well, I don't think so, eh?
Line,
Quite like
line.
finding your first. Nothing quite like finding your first old ship.
Uy, I don't think so. I don't hear a similar phonetic. The
Okay.
problem is context. We are not understanding the sentence, therefore, we are not matching with the correct words. You know?
Yes, sure.
When you say there is nothing like, let's eliminate quite so you can understand the sentence easier. Remember that quite is an emphasis word. Emphasis words are not necessary. This is in the list of emphasizers we saw a long time ago. At the beginning of the course, we saw adverbs right here. We saw very, really, quite. Here it is. Pretty, so, to, and enough. We studied very. We studied really. We studied quite. And quite can be used as connector, no, as an emphasis to an adjective or together with a verb. This is not the one we have here. Eh? In the audio, you have there's nothing quite like finding, which in Spanish means no hay nada como. I repeat, no hay nada como. En español, ¿cuándo usas no hay nada como? Por ejemplo, no hay nada como un cafecito con leche y un pan por la mañana. ¿Qué significa eso en otras palabras?
Que no tiene comparación o
Que
algo.
no tiene comparación, ¿no?
Ujú.
Porque es que,
Agradable o
porque es agradable, porque es bueno, porque te gusta mucho, right? Well, the same for Frank. For Frank, there's nothing like finding your first old ship. ¿Qué significa eso, Jessica Asmore? Jessie, are you there? You are muted.
There is nothing quite like finding your first old chip. That is a good experience.
That is a good experience. He loved the
Like
experience. No?
inigualable
Like a what?
experience. Inigualable. I don't know if it is the
What is
word. How do you say inigualable?
that's it? Inigualable. I don't think that exists in English. And you invented massive word, eh?
Sorry.
Massive invention, eh? Very creative. Unmatched. Haha.
Unmatched
I like that
experience.
reference. An unmatched experience. I
An
love that.
unmatched experience.
By the way, guys, unmatched is advanced, so don't worry. Unmatched. We don't have a level, but I'm pretty sure this is advanced. If it's formal, it's advanced.
Unmatched.
And precisely, for Frank, he's super happy about his first ship. That's the reason it's so important to hear this story. And here, esta oración es la que te dice, hey, pon atención porque está a punto de hablar y de darte la oración número 1. You know? Okay. With this introduction, let's continue listening. Rox, you go next.
It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea.
Sorry, teacher, can you play again?
Put it. Play it.
Play it again.
Play and put are transitive. Play
Play,
it, put it.
play it again.
Perfect.
Old ship. It was 300 years old.
It was 300 old.
What expression do we use for age?
Years.
Of course, complete.
It was 300 years old.
Perfect. Repetition.
Was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea.
It was the line. What? It was the line. Line.
Sorry, I was muted. Continue.
I only hear it was the line.
The line. Okay. Sounds similar, but it was not lying. Interesting, Rox, that you are super familiar with the expression years old, but you didn't say years. Why was that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was years or days.
Oh, I don't think it was days. If we are talking about ships, it could be probably. No, you know what? We don't count ages of ships in days.
Days.
Probably babies, probably animals, but we don't count ships as days. So again, try to imagine the situation. He's talking about expeditions, he's talking about traveling to the ocean, that's gonna help you.
Okay.
Good. Let's pass to Jesse Casmore. Listen.
So it wasn't difficult to find. Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so
Jessica Asmore, are you there? You're muted.
Oh, it was so distinct to see.
It was what?
Distance to see.
Distance doesn't exist.
No,
No. The pronunciation is distance,
distance
but
to
that
see.
the word distance doesn't match the audio.
Mm,
Mhm.
to see.
And the word see, you are understanding a verb, but it's not a verb. It's
Oh,
the see.
it's see
Mhm.
on the
So it's
sea.
not to see. It's again
On the sea.
the sea. Exactly.
The sea.
Aha. Much better. One second chance.
Quite like finding your first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just some of their
It was.
Sorry. Incomplete.
the professional divers, because I'm actually a teacher, not of my free time, but I often get to them. Well, there's nothing quite like finding your first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so
It was this line
Okay, continue.
to see
Again,
in.
we have an issue because you insist on to see, but
Oh
you
yes.
have the see. So focus,
Yes.
focus. Two more chances. Let's go with Angie. Attention.
it was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so it
Just
Nice. Complete, eh? Don't
it
tell
was
me
just
only one word. Uh-huh.
like
Similar. Uh-huh. The audio is very similar, but it's not like.
in the post.
Nice. I think it's not add in. I think it's a different connector. But you are close.
Okay, in the we in the post we
Eliminate post, eliminate we. Listen again.
first old ship. It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea,
at the post
Okay.
on the sea.
At is enough. So for these second words, I think you need new vocabulary. I think so. Karen, do you have the word? The words?
No, teacher, just of the sea.
Okay. Okay. Good job.
It,
Good job.
it was just lying at the potion, but I don't know what it's potion.
Correct. You have two words that we need to understand. Let's go directly to the following word, which is this. Definition number 2. Karen.
Okay. Of a thing to be or remain in a flat position on a surface. I
Read
don't know.
example so you can understand it. Read, for example,
Clothes
this one.
were lying. Okay. She picked up a pen that was.
Whoa. What did she do?
She picked up.
Ah, she picked up.
She picked up a pen that
Whoa.
was
Piquet. Again, Piquet.
picked up.
Pronunciation. Picked.
Picked up. She picked up a pen that was lying nearby.
Near.
Nearby.
Near. This is vocabulary from
Nearby.
previous classes, eh? Exactly. In previous classes, we saw the word nearby, which is similar to say close.
Nearby. She picked
Yes.
up a pen that was lying nearby.
Yes. The question is, did you understand?
No, teacher.
No, right? Who understood what is lie?
Me, teacher.
Okay, tell me in Spanish, Rocks.
Es como estar en una posición horizontal, ¿no?
En
Como
posición
correcto.
horizontal.
Okay.
¿En posición horizontal en dónde?
Sobre recargado sobre algo.
Sobre algo. Específicamente, cuando es por ejemplo,
Como decir, estaba descansando en mi cama. O sea,
por ahí
estaba.
vas, por ahí vas. Acostado.
No, eso. Ok.
Esa es la palabra. Y eso me fui a la 2 porque es la que está hablando de una cosa. En la 1 es lo mismo, pero cuando es una persona o un animal. La razón por la cual están separadas es porque la primera de una persona o un animal, una cosa o un animal, perdón, una persona o un animal sí se acuesta. Una cosa no. Una cosa está ahí, como tirado. You know? Es una cosa es estar acostado y otra cosa es estar tirado.
Ok.
This
Okay.
is the word that we have here. It was just, listen,
It was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea.
Yes. Lie.
lie, grammar, structures, incomplete. It was just, anybody can complete the sentence?
Lying.
Lying, ing.
In. Okay.
Because it was, Karen.
Yes. Was
See?
ing.
Was ing, Formula 3. It was just lying at the...
Ocean.
Where does SpongeBob live?
Una piña.
No, what? Where does SpongeBob live? Does anybody know?
Fondo de bikini. Ah,
In Spanish. But in English?
No, I don't know.
Bikini?
Beach.
Bottom?
Beach? Oh, Jessica Asmore. Exactly.
Bottom.
Bikini
Bottom.
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 Bikini bottom.
Bottom.
It was just lying at the bottom of the sea.
It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so
We Americans, we say bottom. British say button. You see? So, it wasn't difficult to find.
it was 300 years old. It was just lying at the bottom of the sea, so it wasn't difficult to find.
Which is answer letter.
Sí.
Exactly. That's correct.
But it's the correct is C, teacher, but C is easy to find, no?
The first old
Okay.
ship which Frank found
Yes.
was
Yes.
is positive, wasn't is negative.
Okay,
This is a
yes,
synonym
teacher.
to letter C.
Got it. Yes.
See?
I see.
This is B1 English, people.
But
So it's
also the
about-
letter A, teacher, is a good option because also mentioned that it's covered by rocks and other things.
What else? You exactly, that's the same issue you found with letter C is in the audio. He mentions the rocks, but he mentioned that it wasn't covered by rocks. Listen.
Most are covered in sand and rocks.
Most are covered in sand and rocks. Most. What is most?
A possibility?
Yes.
Incorrect. The possibility is must, no most. Most of them.
Muchos de ellos.
Por ahí vas, la mayoría.
Ah, la mayoría.
La
Mm,
mayoría están cubiertas en piedras. Y esta estaba solamente lying at the bottom of the sea.
okay.
You see?
Yes, I
A
got it.
lot of references
Not
to
sure.
say that the answer is C. I know, it's vocabulary, ¿no?
Yes.
It's vocabulary, por eso les mandé esa lista. El listening es de conocer el vocabulario, de saber qué están diciendo. You know? Actualicen sus glosarios. Y el glosario para este examen lo tienen ya en su WhatsApp. ¿Ok? So, guys, this is it. ¿Ok?
Okay, teacher.
Tomorrow, we are going to do a simulation of part 2. All the different questions. Then we continue with Frank. So, keep listening, keep practicing, and we see ourselves tomorrow. Yep.
Okay. Yes, teacher.
All right, girls. Very good. I will see you tomorrow.
See you.
See you, good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.